After the gym battle, we are told to recover some parts stolen from a Team Aqua Grunt in Verdant Turf Tunnel, where we find our next Pokemon, Ghastly, which we name Richard. We dispatch the grunt with ease and return the parts back to their owner, who beckons us inside the Devon Corporation building, where we meet the president, who is oddly British. I heard just now how we have quite a bit to thank you for, and asks us to deliver a letter to a man named Stephen in Dewford Town, the place of the next gym, and our grave. Once we make our way there, we get the fishing rod from this random man and start fighting new encounters. We fish in Dewford Town to get Clam Pearl, which we name Ruby. Then we head to Route 106, where we find a Krabby we name Sandra. Route 107, where we find a Squirrel named Oliver. Granite Cave, where we find an Onyx named Pot, which I wasn't too happy about. Please be a psychic type, please be a psychic type, please be a psychic type, please be a psychic type. And then we head all the way back to Petalburg City, where we fish up a Goldeen, which we fittingly name Goldeen. Now, you might be starting to see the problem with these encounters. Sure, we have one Pokemon who's immune to fighting and one who resists it, but the rest of our team is neutral to it, except for our Onyx, who actually gets hit super effectively by fighting. So how can we win this gym battle? The answer is, we don't. Starting the gym battle, an overwhelming sense of dread looms over me. I just know it's over. We start with Clam Pearl, who takes out Machop with relative ease. Then comes Meditite. Meditite has Focus Punch, which is usually not threatening as it can be interrupted by simply hitting the Pokemon using it. What makes this scary is the use of Substitute, that if missed can let Meditite freely use Focus Punch with no drawbacks. This was unfortunately the case for Ruby. It was using Muddy Water, which had 85% accuracy, which kept missing Meditite's Substitute. Ruby goes down. We switch in Richard, who takes out the Meditite with Hex. Pancham swaps in, threatening to use a Shadow Claw, so Pot swaps in to take the hit, but it uses Bulk Up instead. Since Pancham kept using Aerial Ace and Bulk Up instead of its super effective Power Up Punch, Pot was able to get Pancham down to less than a fourth of its health. But then Brawly used a Super Potion. Because of all of its buffs, not even Pot's massive defense stat could take a hit. Pot goes down. Because of all of the stat raises, I opt to swap in Richard, knowing he can't take a Shadow Claw, but he has to use Clear Smog to get rid of all the effects. And he does as such, but is unable to withstand the Shadow Claw. Another one down. Sandra swaps in and takes Pancham out with Cut. Mienfoo swaps in. Sandra is unable to take more than 2 Aura Spheres before she faints. Another one down. Oliver swaps in, taking an Aura Sphere, sending Mienfoo back to its Pokeball with a Water Pulse. Scraggy enters the field. Oliver tries to weaken its special defense with Acid so Water Pulse can one-shot, but the efforts are to no avail. Oliver gets overwhelmed by Pain attacks. Another one down. Goldeen swaps in to clean up the kill, but unfortunately, Goldeen has to face the behemoth that is Hariyama. Goldeen stands no chance. Hariyama deals the final blow, and we wipe, marking the end of our first run. Granted, there are a lot of things I could have done better, but oh well, I can't turn back the past. So, we boot up the game and start over. I chose Mudkip as my starter again, this time naming it Man of the Water. In this run, leading up to the Rock-type gym, I encounter a Pidgey, a Lillipup, a Caterpie, a Venipede, a Paris, and a Pumpkaboo. Tell me, do you see the problem? Because I do! Leading up to the Rock-type gym, we only have 3 Pokemon that can hit Rock super effectively, and one of those Pokemon is weak to Rock. Sure, the level cap allowed us to evolve a few Pokemon, but it wasn't enough. We enter the gym battle, that familiar sense of dread weighing me down as we both send out our first Pokemon. Roxanne sends in Archon while I send in Man of the Water. A few Water Pulses should be able to bring it down, but last time Archon switched into Lilip, absorbing my Water Pulse with its Storm Drain. So I instead decided to go for Mudshot, predicting the switch, which doesn't happen this time around. Archon uses Double Team. I hit a Water Pulse, but Roxanne uses a Potion, healing Archon back up to full. Man of the Water is too low, so we swap to Remy, our Herdier, on another Double Team. I tried to reduce its attack with Priority Baby Doll Eyes, which misses the first turn but hits the next. I try to use Bite, but it also misses. Remy is now too low as well, So we switch it to Boo Radley, the Pumpkaboo. It tries to use Shadow Sneak, but it misses both times. Archon goes for Wing Attack, and Boo goes down. We go into Shit, the Butterfree, who is finally able to pick up the kill with an Electro Web. Ammonite comes in, threatening a 4-time super effective Ancient Power, which I switch Tina or Venipede into. She's unable to take the hit. She goes down. I go into Paris, the Paris, hoping to go for a Grass type cut, but Ammonite outspeeds. Another Pokemon falls. The story ends all the same. Shit tries to make a last-ditch effort with Electro Whip, but she also goes down. Remy's able to clean up the kill, but Nosepass swaps in and Remy stands no chance. Man of the Water's the last survivor. He takes down the Nosepass, but it doesn't matter. Laleep swaps in and uses 4-time super effective Giga Drain. The screen goes black, and we wipe. But you don't think I'm gonna give up after just 2 runs, right? After all, you know what they say. 3rd time's the charm.
Oh yeah, baby. That's like the name of the video.
Woo! So we start over again, still picking Mudkip, but this time naming it Guy. We use our Ultra DX new Nintendo 3DS to speed through the intro and get our first encounters. On Route 101, we encounter a Fletchling and name it Angry Bird. On 103, we encounter a Shellos named Cellulose. On 102, we encounter a Caterpie named Caterpie. On Route 104, we catch an Azumarill, which we named the Savior, which you'll learn why later. In Petalburg Woods, we find a Phantom named Gump. In Rust Tunnel, we find a Spinarak named Sydney. And on Route 115, we find a Mareep named Meep, which becomes pivotal to winning this gym battle. Not only does the level cap allow Meep to evolve right before the gym, in this ROM hack, Meep learns Shockwave at level 13, which is a powerful electric type move that never misses. This helps us deal with Roxanne's pesky Archon, who always tries to avoid our attacks with Double Team. Our team actually seems really promising this time around. We enter the gym with Guy the Marshtomp, Saber the Marill, Meep the Flaffy, Cellulose the Shellos, Gump the Phantom, and Sydney the Spinarak, just in case we need to sack something. Now, this team might already seem really good, but the Savior had other plans. Yes, the Savior! Let's go! Inside of the gym, the Savior reached level 18, which allowed him to evolve into a Azumarill, giving us an amazing Pokemon right before the gym battle. This one's looking really promising. With that, we face Roxanne. She sends out that all too familiar Archon, and we send out Meep. Archon goes for Double Team, but it's futile. Fluffy one-shots him with a critical hit Shockwave. Nosepass comes in, which we paralyze with Thunder Wave and then switch into the Savior. On this turn, Nosepass goes for Lock On, which means it's going to use Dab Cannon. So we pivot to Guy, who's immune to electric moves. Just as we're about to take it out with Marshtomp, Nosepass switches out into Laleep, activating its Storm Drain. We switch to Sydney, knowing that Laleep is going to use a Grass type move. She tanks the hit and takes down Laleep with 2 X-Scissors. Omnite swaps in and takes Sigmy out as planned. Gump switches in and one-shots Omnite with Horn Leech. Tyron swaps in, and knowing it's going to use Bite, I swap into Savior to tank the hit. And from there, Roxanne stood no chance. The Savior lands a critical hit Bubble Beam on Tyron, killing it. And she cleans up the kills on Nosepass and Anorith. Dude! And that is our first badge, baby! Yes! But this isn't over yet. I wasn't going to end the stream until I defeated Brawly, so I could feel the taste of sweet revenge. And if you made it this far into the video, please consider subscribing. I spent over 10 hours editing this, and I would really appreciate it. We head to Dewford Town, get the fishing rod, and get to work. In Dewford, we fish up a Corsola called the Virus. In Route 106, we find a Staryu we named Eerie. In 107, we find a Scrub named Peony. And in Rust Tunnel, we find a Zubat we named Middle Mist. These encounters are great, but for this gym, we only added Zubat to the team. Our team is relatively similar to what we used for Roxanne's gym, except we swapped out Spinarak for our newly evolved Angry Bird the Fletchinder, Cellulose for Middle Mist, and Meep for Butterfree. Not to brag, but this team looks pretty good. With 4 different Pokemon that resist fighting and 1 who's immune to it, I don't think Brawly stands a chance. And so, we enter the battle with a thirst for revenge. Brawly starts his matchup and I lead with the Savior. I go for Charm to make its feeble attacks do even less damage, and they only do 5. Pathetic! Machop tries to bulk up to up its attack power, but it's too late. It's already been taken out by the Savior's Bubble Beam. Meditite swaps in, attempting to use Focus Punch, but it can't seem to get it together. The Savior mercilessly drowns Meditite with its water attacks. Pancham tries to get a little bit of damage in on the Savior, but alas, it's to no avail. Another one down. Scraggy comes trying to intimidate us? You think you're in the spot to intimidate me? We swap it to Butterfree and mince Scraggy into spam with Air Slash. Another one down. Hariyama comes in, and while I was able to take out Butterfree, it's not before Butterfree lands another Air Slash. Gum switches in, leeching the life out of Hariyama with Horn Leech. Another one down. Brawly thinks for a second that he can take down one of my Pokemon with his Mienfoo, but he cannot be more wrong. Middleman swaps in, tanking a 4-time resistant Aura Sphere. She swoops in for the kill. And Brawly wipes!